Hi, I'm Jeff Murrah. I want to welcome you to Healthy Marriage Tips. Today, I'm continuing my series on your marriage and teens. The more I get into and really break down a lot of the issues that come with teens, the more I realize that there's a lot to it, and there's a lot to where your stress is coming from and dealing with it. Today, the topic will be the creep into dysfunction. Now, I doubt any of you intentionally wanted your marriage and your family to be dysfunctional. I don't know anyone that intends for things to be dysfunctional. Most families, when they have dysfunction, it's because they've slipped into it via creep. Now, I call it creep because it just kind of creeps in. It comes in choice by choice, compromise by compromise. The only place where it comes all at once is when you have a sudden life-changing trauma. It can shift the whole family, but for most families, it came a little bit at a time. And most of the time, how the creep comes in, it's usually about keeping the peace. And in the name of keeping the peace, you go ahead and you give up a little bit of control, a little bit of say-so, a little bit of authority, a little bit of structure. Or it may be, wanting to fit in with the neighbors, getting along with people. But I still see that as a variation of keeping the peace. And then one day you wake up and say, gee, what happened? Everything suddenly changed. How did we get so far away from the family and the marriage that we intended? We're suddenly finding ourselves entertaining ideas and behaviors and actions that we would have never thought possible years ago. Well, it's through those compromises, through creep. And rather than beat yourself up, let's talk about what you can do to start getting out of that. First of all, you're going to have to realize that change and returning to functionality is possible. If you approach it with the mindset, there's no way we're ever going to get out. Well, guess what? You're not going to get out of it. If, on the other hand, you approach it with the mindset, we can get out of this. Change is possible. We got into it. We can get out of it. We headed into this mess. We can back out. Although you may not always see a clear road laid out, showing you the way out, it'll become clear. It's got to start with the conscious decision that change and functionality is possible. It's not that you're ever going to be perfect. I have not met perfect families and perfect marriages. I've seen some that are pretty close, but I haven't met perfect. And that's why I use the term functional, in terms of it works. And much like the way you got into this mess, you can change direction one choice at a time, because each choice you make sets up for the next choice, the next choice, the next choice. And the way to get out of it is to start making healthy choices. One way you can look at it, am I making this choice based on keeping the peace or doing what's right? Is my decision going to move us in the direction of health or something else? When you start looking at it that way, you'll come up with better choices. Because letting Susie or Johnny go to that party, it may keep the peace, but the kids that are at that party, half of them you haven't met, and the party may just be an excuse for them to go out and do other things. And it may be the easy choice to let them go, but doing the right thing may be, well, before you go, let me meet the parents, or you may just have to say no. As a parent, no is actually your friend. And getting your teen used to accepting limits in the form of no is a good thing. Because if they don't learn it at home, it's going to be a hard world for them in the workplace. Because just about every workplace I've encountered, there are limits. There are things that you can't do. In real life, there are no's. And if you know how to handle no, how to handle disappointments, it's not going to be so crushing. Now, the other thing, besides seeing that change is possible, I have to tell you that it's going to feel weird during a transition, because this is going to take you out of your comfort zone. What happens a lot of times, besides creep, it's almost like you get accustomed to the dysfunction, to where dysfunction feels normal. And as you move toward doing things that are healthy, it's going to feel weird. This doesn't feel right. I realize that that is just a normal part of growth on your way to becoming a functional family. You're not a freak. That's part of what happens as you start to become functional and healthy. Because when you're functional and healthy, you don't have to worry about hiding dirty deeds. You don't have to worry so much about family secrets. There's a lot of burdens that you don't have to worry about. But I wanted to go ahead and deal with the creep into dysfunction, because it is something that is a threat to each of our families, and we have to be aware of it. The things, it's not just who you let in your house, it's also what you let come through your radios and come through your TVs, and the various things that you let in a home. You want home to be a special place that's safe. So, until next time, this is Jeff Murrow wishing you best regards. If you have any comments or things that you want to share, or topics that you want me to cover, please list them down below. I'll be glad to get to them. Until next week, I wish you all the best, and we'll see you later. Goodbye.